This is ILTV on the Hour, bringing you the biggest stories from Israel and the Middle East in just 5 minutes. I'm Lidar Lazi, and today is day 656 of the war in Gaza. Let's get into all the top headlines at this hour. Israel is at its closest point to achieving the goals of the war with Hamas. That's the word from Defense Minister Israel Katz, who released a statement saying, "We have two fronts left, in Gaza and in Yemen, and we must act to fully resolve them." During an assessment with IDF Chief Eyal Zamir, Katz emphasized the importance of meeting the war objectives, including the return of all the hostages and the defeat of Hamas. The IDF says the ground operation in Deir al-Balach is nearly complete. According to the army, forces have already begun to withdraw from the area only entered in recent days. Elsewhere in Gaza, in Khan Yunis, the Field Brigade uncovered and seized weapons, including grenades, mortars, and tactical communications equipment. And in northern Gaza, operations in the Shajaiya and Zaytul areas continue, with airstrikes reportedly killing about a dozen gunmen in the past 24 hours. The Air Force also struck dozens of terror targets across the Strip, hitting booby-trapped buildings, anti-tank launch positions, combat terror tunnels, and other infrastructure. And meanwhile, the United States is signaling movement in efforts to finalize the elusive hostages for ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas. U.S. Envoy Steve Witkoff will reportedly meet Israeli and Qatari officials in Rome for hostage deal talks. If sufficient progress is made, Witkoff would then travel to Doha toward the end of the week to secure a deal. Axios is reporting that Witkoff will meet Israeli Minister of Strategic Affairs Ron Dermer and a senior Qatari envoy. According to the White House, we're in the midst of negotiations, really in the final stretch. Mediated talks in Doha in recent weeks focused on IDF deployment in Gaza during the ceasefire. And in other news, the Trump administration announced its decision to leave the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, known as UNESCO, by the end of the year. The State Department spokesperson said that Washington rejects the UNESCO globalist agenda. This is what she had to say.
And today, the United States informed Director General Audrey Azoulay of the United States' decision to withdraw from the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, also known, of course, as UNESCO. Continued involvement in UNESCO is not in the national interest of the United States. UNESCO works to advance divisive social and cultural causes and maintains an outsized focus on the UN's Sustainable Development Goals, a globalist ideological agenda for international development at odds with our America First foreign policy.
The State Department also cited UNESCO's decision to admit the quote-unquote State of Palestine as a member, which it said was highly problematic and contrary to U.S. policy, and said this contributed to the proliferation of anti-Israel rhetoric within the organization. This is the second time President Trump is withdrawing the U.S. from the international body. In 2017, Trump withdrew the U.S. from UNESCO also due to anti-Israel bias. The Biden administration brought the U.S. back into UNESCO in 2023 and pledged to pay more than $600 million in past membership dues. Israeli UN Ambassador Dani Danon praised the U.S. decision, calling it a fitting response to the consistent misguided anti-Israel bias of UNESCO. And our final story at this hour, Washington wants to play the role of honest intermediary between Israel and Syria. That's the message from U.S. Envoy Thomas Barak, who also had a strong message for Syrian President al-Shara, demanding that he change course and embrace a more inclusive approach after a new round of sectarian violence last week left over 1,100 dead in Sweda province. He said that he advised al-Shara in private discussions to revisit elements of his pre-war army structure and scale back Islamist indoctrination. And that's a wrap here on ILTV on the Hour. Check back with us in another hour for more updates. And in the meantime, you can scan the QR code on your screen to access our ILTV app. I'm Lidar Lazi. Thanks for watching. See you next time.